What's up everyone, it's Bones here. In today's video, I'll be continuing my journey through the Battles of Legends Crystal Revenge set, but before I begin, if you happen to enjoy content like this, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons would be greatly appreciated, as it goes a long way in supporting the channel and shows me that you like content like this. So to start, you'll see that I'll be covering the Poker Night stuff, and the first new card out of two that we have here is the Royal Straight, and it reads that you can send one Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight from your hand and or face-up monster zone to the graveyard, then special summon one monster from your hand, deck, extra deck, or graveyard that mentions all of Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight. So I'll be covering a couple of combos that you can do with this that have improved the deck, but I would like you to keep in mind that it still is on the more casual side of things and not meant to be a very competitive deck. So to start this first combo here, I'm going to start by using the Joker's Knight, which is basically a Magician's Souls for the deck. It lets you send any of your knights to the graveyard to special summon itself, and because we have the King's Knight, we're going to send the Queen's Knight because its name also becomes the knight that it sends. So now that it's a Queen's Knight, we can use the King's effect as we summon it and special summon a Jack's Knight, which will give us all three names onto the field. Now we can link away all three into the Arcana Extra Joker, as now we're going to use the Joker Straight, pitching the Joker's Wild, and this will allow us to special summon a Queen's Knight and also search another copy of King's Knight. And the Straight also lets us normal summon again, as we'll normal summon the King's Knight, and the King's Knight can now get its effect as it's not a hard once per turn, and this will give us the Jack's Knight. So because we have the Royal Straight here, what you can do is set it and pass on that so that you don't get hit by Dark Ruler or whatever. But for the video, I'm just going to activate it here to show that you can bring out your Arcana Knight Joker, and we'll go to the end phase and get all our graveyard effects in order to give us the discards for the two Jokers on field, as I'm going to get back the Wild, get back the Joker Straight, and then we can get back the Joker's Knight to give us one of each typing in our hand. So for this second combo, I'll be covering a going second combo, and I want you to imagine that this is just an imaginary board with anything that you can destroy uninterrupted. So much like our last combo, we're going to start with the same hand, and we're going to follow some of the same steps, as we're going to normal summon our Jack's Knight after using the Joker's Knight. Then we can special summon our Jack's Knight, go into the Joker here, and then we can use the Joker Straight, pitching the Wild, special summoning the Queen, and getting the King. Then we can normal summon the King, get the Jack, and from here we're going to use the Royal Straight, and this will get us into our second new card, as we're going to get Royal Straight Slasher, and it reads cannot be normal summoned set, must be special summoned with Royal Straight. If you have Queen's Knight, King's Knight, and Jack's Knight in your graveyard, you can send one monster of each level between 1 and 5, meaning a level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, from your hand and or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. When this card is destroyed by battle, you can target up to 3 Light Warrior monsters in your graveyard, special summon them. You can only use each effect of Royal Straight Slasher once per turn. So we're going to do just that, as we're going to get our pop, and you'll notice the targets that I'm using, they can honestly vary, and I'll talk more about them in the deck profile. So the first thing I would like to start by saying is that I think that the Royal Straight is a great card for what the archetype wants to do, but unfortunately, I'm not the biggest fan of Slasher because it's a brick. It takes 4 slots in the deck that are all sort of bricks. TG Striker can be used to special summon itself, and get you into an easy Isolde. But if you were playing other cards besides this stuff, then you can argue that you would have better options to do what you wanted more consistently. And by taking out the Slasher, you're also even able to take out a Jax Knight, because you really only play the 3 copies of Jax Knight, because Slasher makes it so that you can run pretty quickly through it in combination with your other cards. As for the extra deck, I would like to mention that you don't really need to play multiples of stuff like Isolde, because Joker's Wild shuffles a Light Warrior monster along with Joker's Straight and the Joker's Knight, which also really makes it so that you only need one of the Jokers. You're able to put that back into the extra deck too, and really both Jokers for that matter. I would also like to mention that this Baron here is a flex spot, especially if you take out the Slasher along with the bricks here. But if you want to play the Slasher, my idea was that worst case scenario, if you get the TG Striker along with Joker's Knight and King's Knight, you can get into a Baron like that. And while it's not the most optimal, it's also why I mentioned that this is a very loose spot here. As you can see, Cross Sheep, Psychic End Punisher, and Cheng Ying are all options that you can use to replace it. So Psychic End Punisher and Cheng Ying do use the same logic. Onto the card by card, we have the 1 Bower, the 3 King's Knight, the 3 Queen's Knight, the 3 Jack's Knight, the 1 Slasher, the 3 Joker's Knight, the 1 Necrogardna, the TG Striker, the 1 Squeak Knight, the 3 Talents, the 1 Rhoda, the 3 Royal Straight, the 3 Joker Straight, the 3 Droplets, the 1 Called by the Grave, the 1 Face Card Fusion, the 1 Joker's Wild, the 1 Court of Cards, the 3 Prosperity, and the 3 Rivalries to round out the main deck. Onto the extra deck, we have the 1 Zealanthus, the 1 Access Code, the 1 Appaloosa, Nightmare Unicorn, the Joker. We also have the Rotten, the Heavenly General. You're usually making this when you go into your Isolde. As you see, we don't have any equip spells in order to special summon via Isolde, and that's definitely an option that you have if you take out the Slasher stuff. But more importantly, it's able to get you back a monster that's level 4 or lower with the same type as a monster it points to, and you have to special summon it from the hand. It can also be a disruption, as at the start of the battle phase, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. Then we have the Isolde, the Baron, which is a flex spot as mentioned previously, the Joker, the 1 Zeus, Pleiades, the Utopia the Lightning, Utopia, Abyss Dweller, and Baguska to round out the deck profile. The last thing I would like to mention is that Super Poly is a major weakness that the deck has because of Garura and both Jokers being Light Warriors. So that's something that you should also play around if you know that your opponent is on it. Also, in formats where Nibiru is good, that this card might be a little too much to handle if you're not playing cards to combat it, so that is important to note, because it does take a bit of special summoning to get into your Jokers. But anyways, if you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching and I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. It's Bones, signing out.